to try and get out of Teddy territory. I mean, he's 2018 Teddy right now, and he wants to be a little bit better than that this time around. We're going to introduce KT Rolster first, though. You can see Gango and Snowflower will be your bottom lane, so Zenit and Mia will be stepping aside. Score there as well, of course, and Smeb makes his way back to the top lane.
When you're in the dugout like this, like the football-style entrances, you want to be badass. You want to make a pose, but it's hard to make a pose when you don't have a match victory, Atlas, and that's why everyone here, bit of nervous smiles on the side of KT. Let's see if they can live up to their reputation, so they can have a long-awaited re-debut. Maybe they can throw out week number 1 and make week number 2 all about KT Rolster. They're wearing their new jackets, which are for sale, but again, advertising easier when you got a match victory, so
damn right.
They bow to the crowd. It's still a really good crowd in spite of it being 0-2 against 0-2.
Well, these teams still have so many fans. These are still the big names in the LCK, and we're only 1 week in. There's certainly an opportunity for these guys to completely turn things around. However, once you get into week 3, week 4, if nothing's changed, that's when you really start to ring the warning bells. But now we're going to be introducing King's Own Dragon X, Rascal and Cuz, both of them been on this roster for so long, but never really as starters. Pawn, Deft, and Tucson wanting to turn around their fortunes as well. And Acorn, big smile on his face actually, looking confident. Wasn't actually their drafting coach last time we saw them, but will be back by the looks of things.
And that's what I want to see, because actually it was Hirai behind him now, more of the head coach who was on stage for that second match. Would love to have an interview with either Acorn or Hirai to understand that, because I've never seen Hirai on stage as the one coach before. Acorn's got the big notebook. It seems like it's been reinforced. Was not playing in their first series. Gango probably going to be a bit more reticent to lock in that Callista after being exploded on site against Dumb1 Gaming. And I'm going to be looking to the mid lane, because even though KT talked about how this was a Smeb-focused roster, I think BDD was their main acquisition, just like Gen G were all about Peanut. BDD needs to perform today, because he looked a bit more like a passenger in their last 2-0 loss.
And if you have a look at the form that Pawn's in as we bring up the King's Own lineup, you could imagine that that is certainly a place that KT can punch through, because Pawn has not looked very good at all, making the old Pawn mistake.
Is curious, so let's see how KT back this one up. Maybe they just have a read on what they want to pick as a 5-man comp.
Yeah, and maybe they were scared of the third round pick here for King's Own. Could be something like the Lucian themselves, but the Ashe is going to come out. That's going to be the answer here from Deft, going back to a very old favorite for this guy and giving him a bit of the prey treatment. King's Own certainly knows how to play around an Ashe.
Well, we need a Season 1 Ashe player, because we've lost them. Atlas, we don't have.
It's only Sungyun that's played it so far.
But the weird thing is we don't have the God tier Ashes of Bang and Prey. They were the ones who you could always trust and praise Ashe era accuracy. Always going to be something to be ecstatic about. Deft has played it in and out of meta, but certainly isn't respected the same level with the arrow, at least. Perhaps he can rewrite that with some of his peers removed.
Deft was more of a teamfight Ashe player.
Urgot's peer in Sion is going to be locked in as an answer to just kind of lane against Sion wherever possible. And yeah, I agree with you. His Ezreal is usually the one we get excited about. We saw it in Kesper Cup. They couldn't play the macro around the Ezreal to get any value out of it in Kesper Cup, and they haven't returned to it so far when it's come to LCK Spring 2019.
Well, Snowflower is going to lock away the Thresh, so the Wife Steal bottom lane looks to be coming in. Of course, still able to get that flexibility if they want to move the Lucian around, but Snowflower certainly a big favorite for him.
He's a real legendary Thresh player as well. If you remember back to when Rebels Anarchy debuted, Mickey, now Cuz is not known for applying jungle pressure when it comes to competitiveness. All right, we've got the Yasuo.
The old school counter pick to the Zoe.
And it's also the second round special. It's not a Camille Galio, but it's the same level of synergy here. Gragas from basically off the screen throws out a cask lazily, and then Yasuo says, thank you very much, and your breath stops. A last breath enabler here on three different picks on KT. A lot of synergy, and I think BDD wants to pop off on this Yasuo.
And now we've got the Olaf locked in as well. Of course, has been a pick that can work very, very well in this season. Bono, in fact, bringing it to a 15 KDA over his experiences for Hanwha Life Esports. But now it's Cuz gonna try his hand, and it was always Peanut that was the next level Olaf player for King's Own, and now Cuz, of course, been sitting behind him for a long time. It's going to be him that brings it out this time.
And I hope this is the start of a trend for week number 2, because week 1 was flex mid laners, right? Aftershock abusers, tanks.
Yeah.
Now we have Zoe versus Yasuo, and it's also BDD saying, I didn't enjoy watching on as my team around me couldn't find.
The fact that Smeb is the one without a flash. There's the flash into Stain. There to bring Smeb further back into the lane, and I have a feeling he's not going anywhere. Cuz picks up his axe, and he's going to continue slowing down this Scion. He'll be able to take care of some minions, but that is first blood going to Kingzone, and the first that KT has missed out on.
Legit no counterplay, and love that Cuz is in the right place at the right time. Rascal gives him the call and says he's got no summoners. Nope, potentially as a quarterback for moments like this. Should be the winner here, but Pawn is pretty overextended.
Yeah, BDD going to easily be able to pick this one up. Zhonya's is going to go down, but there is nowhere that Pawn is going. Flashes actually and has the heal, but it's a few extra buttons, and he is taken down, and that means
comped pretty reliably here. Rascal walks up. This could be a mistake.
Yeah, he's going to get hooked there as well into the box. Trouble Bubble comes down, and he has to use his stopwatch, but no one is close enough. The flash is going to be utilized to Stain, and the heal's going to keep him alive, and now Cuz finds himself right in the middle of the thick of it. Has to flash to get his way out. In fact, everyone is flashing. Tucson is going to be the one that has the most trouble, but Stand Beside Me is off cooldown. Party Cast going to come in. That's Smeb with a 3-man knock-up, but they're just putting the right people forward. Arrow is going to land. The slows are good, but another hook is going to come in, and Gango grabs the first kill of this very extended fight. Pawn does have the stopwatch, but it's not enough. Zhonya's Hourglass now on cooldown, but his life is forfeit, and BDD still looking for more Kingzone, just botching it.
BDD so close to a last breath. The flash Q just out of range of last breath for BDD, even after the buff a few patches ago. They aren't able to kill the kills, but man, the dump
there as well.
And that's Kingzone returning to Kesper Cup, where they had good early games and then started to make mistakes. Kingzone pushing out.
In trouble, walks around the wind wall this time, and they get the Glacial Fissure, but into the back line. That's the 3-man knock-up. So much damage comes in as BDD just locks them all away. Pawn decimated, and KT get that team fight.
They get on the second time. One mulligan straight into it. Smeb sets up the multi-man stun, I believe, at the start of that, and Last Breath does the rest. All the free farm, now the grouping, and suddenly gold parity and probably a Baron for KT.
Yeah, and Rascal is now trying to just lumber after BDD, and the Baron has already been started. Nothing that Rascal can actually do. There's 4 are dead on the side of Kingzone. They're not going to be able to make it towards this big purple worm, and KT turn it into a 7-2 kill game. They're still 3,000 gold behind, but they can catch up now. There's so much standing gold on this map.
And I can't even isolate which of the obvious team-wide knockups it was that started the party. But it's all about BDD closing the party. Worlds qualifiers where basically every Yasuo Q was flashed away from, every knockup was flashed away from. You need your flash to get away from the synergy.
Free hitting here on the top side. I think the ultimate didn't actually land there, but Smeb is going to go down. Zombie Scion. Not a lot he can do here as now KT have to run for this.
They're starting onto the Baron. They've got a lot of vision in this area. I think KT have to react.
Yep, Score running pretty damn quickly as now the train has left the station. In he goes as BDD gets exhausted to begin this one. Kingzone haven't actually offered too much back here as Disdain is used, but Rascal's still going to get taken down, and now Tucson running for the hills. Deft trying to get the auto attacks down, but Gango flashes on top of him. It's a double kill for BDD as the Lantern Ride is going to continue the party. Pawn's going to go down. It's the Guardian Angel for BDD. So much of his health comes back, and now look at the bottom lane. Kingzone's bottom lane in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, just waiting to die at the end of the fight, and Deft is going to get crushed by Smeb, his former teammate.
The 2v5 is real at the end. Thanks for the zoom in there. TPs are down, and KT Rolls just want to end the game before Kingzone can respawn.
Yep, Smeb just makes his way down towards the bottom side of the map with that summoner spell. Will break open the base, and everybody else is just beelining towards this mid lane inhibitor turret. KT just want to continue it. It's the bottom lane. That's all they need. They just need a few minions. They can tank things up with their gigantic Scion. And this should be the end of the game, unless Cuz can do something. I mean, Rascal's death timer not too long either.
Let's watch it. It is 5 members of KT.
Yeah, they've got a lot of damage as well. You can see that tower just evaporated as now Gango trying to get the damage across. Cuz is going to fall down, and Rascal should be soon to follow. Does go into the grinder. As there's the 4-man fear at the same time. Tucson doesn't quite land the ultimate, but Gango has to go so far to get on top of that lantern. He's still burning down. Last tick, not enough. And Kingzone will be able to defend their base if Smeb will eventually go down. Teleport here from Deft actually towards the top side as they're trying to get more back, and there we go.
With no Nexus turrets, this is hard to do, but no 3-lane pressure from KT allows Kingzone to make this 5v5. It's here's Smeb.
Yeah, the train does come in now. It's going to land onto just Rascal, but that's not the target that they want. Once again, Tucson throws his ultimate into a wind wall. That is not what you want, and KT still are so incredibly healthy. Pawn portal jumping to try and get himself around, but they do decide just to take down the Urgot with the last breath. Gango in trouble as the Paddle Stars come through, and Kingzone are still in amongst this fight. The flash through from Pawn, but he's unable to connect onto Gango in the backline. Snowflower in trouble, and now it's the Ash who has to deal with all of the low health members, but they're finally falling. The damage is still here, and Deft picks up 2. 1 goes over to Pawn, who's now having a field day. Gango is in vision as B2D, does use the cleanse to get himself out of the way. And now they have to go for this 2 versus 2. It's mid laner and AD for both sides. And there's the wind wall. That could be the trouble now as B2D's playing nicely.
He's in again!
Does have another ultimate, but Deft gets the cheeky auto, and Gango now finds himself 1 versus 2 and trying to get rid of these minion waves. This game is so incredibly close. It's been crazy, it's been weird, but damn, it's been exciting as Gango finally goes down, and that's the ace for Kingzone.
Unbelievable. Kingzone able to win this against this team fight, and a lot of it is because of poke at the start, getting Gango low. Smeb comes in, no last breath yet. Like you say, Tusen's ult is wasted, but Rascal, obscenely tanky as we know. He's still buying time, he's still finding positioning, and notice where Deft and Pawn are. They're over a wall, no damage coming onto them from KT. So in the backline, the poke onto Gango is very relevant here.
That one Paddle Star was so important as well.
Pawn can't get an assassination, but low health bars when they finally get the first target. Notice that there was so low threat onto Deft, he cleanses and then is hitting multiple people. It's pray it, well, it's all over again with the ability to frontline here. So all the beef was sacrificed from KT just to gap close and get the damage in, and by the end, Gango's out of the fight and B2D can't fight 1v2. Don't tell him that. He tried real damn hard.
Yeah, Pawn unfortunately unable to find the Paddle Star as B2D sort of surprised him there. The last breath looked damn cool, but Trouble Bubble not going to land. The arrow does hit though, as Score might get picked off. The autos are there, and Tusen is the one that secures it. Kingzone, they finally found their pick and now want to take down the base.
Dead time is a minute. What else can they get here? Can they just try to end? KT will have to all in to stop it.
Yep, the culling's going to come in, but that's not going to kill any of these minions as he has to get himself the hell out of there. Cuz still throwing the undertows through, and look at the damage onto these structures.
They're gonna have to try something now.
Yep, Nexus turrets are going to be the next to go down, as Smeb has such a huge health bar, but who damn cares? A Snowflower lands the Q, but it's just not enough. The last breath is onto 3 members, but he's just going to get blown up. Rascal flashing forward, in goes Cuz, as well as Gango gets soloed out by the jungler, and I don't know how it happened, but Kingzone came back from the brink, came back from a Nexus under fire and 2 inhibitors down, and win game 1.
Kingzone in the clutch, get it done, but oh, was it close against KT Rose. They thought they'd had it. They rushed at that Nexus, but the Nexus doesn't go down, and then Kingzone, 2 different skirmishes in a row, can get that 3rd inhibitor down to make it unsalvageable, because Kingzone were fighting with a siege comp out of their base.